Good evening, Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to our evening service. And as promised, we're going to have our third lesson in Hebrew. Hopefully we'll get through what I plan to get to this evening. If not, we'll finish up next weekend. But if I don't finish this evening, we will, beyond a shadow of a doubt, we'll finish next weekend. And between these three, or maybe we might have, if I don't finish it, we might have 4 or 5 lessons next week. Between these 3, 4, or 5 lessons, you're going to know how to read and pronounce Hebrew. You know, that's a pretty big start along, your path to becoming proficient in Hebrew, becoming a Hebrew scholar. But before we do that, like I said, this is our evening service, and just want to introduce myself as I always do before each one of our services every week. I am Shilikah, or Apostle Rabbi Vincent P. Adams, and I'm co-founder of Etz Hayim, the Tree of Life, along with my lovely wife, Neviah Leslie Adams. And we just want to say Shabbat Shalom and welcome to the evening service of our Shabbat day celebration. Every Shabbat we have our Friday night service at 7 p.m., our Saturday morning service at 9 a.m., our afternoon service at 1 p.m., and our evening service at about 4:30 p.m. usually. And we just welcome you, and we're glad that you chose fellowship here with us. We will be coming to you from our new facility next week, not next week, but in 2 weeks, beginning January 10th at 7 p.m. Our new facility, a new church or synagogue will be located at 728 West Main Street in Jinx, Oklahoma. The zip code is 74037. Those of you who are using a GPS, again, that's 728 West Main Street, Jinx, Oklahoma, 74037. And we have a number of outreach programs we want to make you aware of, one of which is self-defense training. We live in some very precarious times between Islam and domestic terrorists. Seems like every week or every other week or so, we turn on the TV and we have some kind of mob killing from Islam, or some domestic terrorist, or an emotionally disturbed person killing everyone from political officials or congressmen and women to people who just want to see a movie at a movie theater, to small children at elementary school. And we have to realize that we have to start taking care of ourselves. With Hurricane Sandy, Katrina, the different natural disasters that have occurred over the past few years, we see that the government either can't really take care of us and protect us, or they're unwilling. And now that we are having mass shootings, they want to take away our guns as opposed to arming us so that we can take care of ourselves. You know, their solution is that we become even more vulnerable to attack rather than empower us to protect ourselves. So I'm a martial arts grandmaster, been studying over 45 years, ever since I was 9 years old. And so we decided that we would, even before this last tragedy happened in, what was it, Sandy Hook? Okay. In Newtown, Connecticut, we had already put this plan in motion, and it had begun even before this most recent tragedy happened. But we have a focus on handgun defense. defending yourself against someone armed with a handgun or a rifle or a shotgun, a knife, a stick, or some other blunt instrument, multiple attacks. The MMA fighter, the NHB fighter. I mean, this is pure self-defense. You know, the type of stuff that a Navy SEAL, a Green Beret, a Marine Recon would do. You know, not sport karate, not what you see on the UFC or in point karate or Olympic Taekwondo. We go far beyond that, you know, to the essence of the art, the reason why the martial arts were invented and promulgated in the first place. And you could find out more about that part of our outreach ministry at actstraining.weebly.com. That's ACTSTRAINING.weebly, WEEBLY.com. ACTSTRAINING.weebly.com.
Show it. You can actually show it. It can be seen if you hold it up.
Can they really see it?
Yeah. Hold it up. Hold the switch on.
Is that being seen, Lemuel?
Yeah.
Very well?
Yeah.
Okay. You can also find out about our ministries, our healing ministries at etzhaym.weebly.com. etzhaym.weebly.com. And our transfer of wealth club. You know, the wealth of the wicked is laid up for the just. There is a transfer of wealth going on. Look at your bank statements the past couple of years and determine which side of that transfer are you on. Are you on the side that's being transferred to, or does it seem like it's being transferred from you? If you're not on the side that's being transferred to, you might want to join our Transfer of Wealth Club. It's a ministry outreach of Etzhaym. Of course, there's no charge. One of the things that we help you do is, or one of the first things is that we help you get your house, your home, your real estate free and clear. If you have a mortgage, we can eradicate that mortgage. If you're in foreclosure or about to be in foreclosure, we can stop that foreclosure process and get your home free and clear. If you've already been foreclosed on, we can help you get that property back, or at least the monetary value of that property back. These are just a few of the things, or the main things that we do with the Transfer of Wealth Club. Last week, I believe it was last Friday, we gave some biblical explanations about what we do and why we do it. So get the last Friday's teaching, December 21st. We get some more detail on our outreach programs and why we do them. It's another website I want to give you, especially about the Transfer of Wealth Club and the mortgage eradication. And that webpage is thedominionteam.com, thedominionteam.com. THED as in dominate, OMINION, team, TEAM.com, thedominionteam.com. Excuse me, voice is a little scratchy. Also, these ministries, like I said, our inaugural meeting from our new facility at 728 West Main Street in Jinx, Oklahoma, will be January 11th, Friday evening at 7 p.m., January 11th. January 7th, the martial arts of self-defense training will begin at 4 p.m. from 4 to 8, Monday through Thursday, will be the martial arts training, and that'll begin January 7th. January 8th will be the first meeting of the Transfer of Wealth Club, also at our new location. and that will begin at 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock probably, not 9, 8 o'clock. And then every first Tuesday of the month, we will have the Transfer of Wealth Club meeting. We'll broadcast it live on Ustream. We will also, the other Tuesdays of the month, we will have a free conference call where you can call in and ask questions about the Transfer of Wealth Club and tell us a little bit about your situation, where you need help in, and we'll try to the best of our ability, to give you the information that you'll need. Okay? So January 7th, just mark that down on your calendar. January 8th, mark that on your calendar. January 11th, mark that down. And then January 12th will be our Saturday service, which is 9 a.m., 1 p.m., and 4 p.m. on those days. And of course, January 11th will be 7 p.m. Another thing that's happening that weekend, the 13th, January 13th, is Rosh Hashanah. Excuse me, not Rosh Hashanah, but Rosh Kadesh. Not Rosh Hashanah, but Rosh Kadesh, the head of the month, not the head of the year. And so we have every Rosh Kadesh, we have a very powerful prayer service. Every Rosh Kadesh, and this particular Rosh Kadesh and every one hereafter, we are also going to have an astronomy party, a stargazing party. We have a very powerful electron telescope, not electron, but electric telescope. Very nice. We can dial in and program it to view whatever star system or star we want it to. We will have that out at the new location. So if you've never had the opportunity to look through a telescope at the moon or at the stars and see them up close, if you've never seen the rings of Saturn with your own naked eyes, you have quite a treat. You know, if you've never seen the nebula around certain star clusters, it'll be a treat for you. And we will do that every Rosh Kadesh, and the first of which will be January 13th, when we will have that party. Can you go get the calendar, Leslie? I want to see if that's going to be Saturday night or if it's going to be Sunday night. I know it's going to be on the 13th. It's probably going to be Sunday night, Rosh Kadesh, just so we can give that correct information out. It's going to be quite an event for the kids as well as adults, and a powerful prayer service that will impact the entire month.
January 13th.
Okay, is that January 13th is Sunday? So is Rosh Kadesh that Saturday evening or Sunday evening? I see it.
Saturday evening, I guess.
I think it's that. So basically, when we in Havdalah, we go right into to Rosh Kadesh. Okay, what do you have it on? It's going to be January, say February 15th. Shivat is the month, and new moon of Aquarius is Saturday. No, it's going to be Friday night. I thought it was going to be on the 13th, but it has to be, because Saturday itself, no, wait a minute, yeah, Saturday itself is Shivat 1, so it has to be Friday evening. Friday evening. Let me just make sure of that. Okay. All right. The eve of Hanukkah, that's gone. Okay, we're into that. Today is the 29th. Okay, 11. And then, okay, we go. So it's going to be Friday evening. That's for sure. Shivat 1 is Saturday. So that means Rosh Kadesh will be Friday evening at sundown. So we have a very special Rosh Kadesh coming up in 2 weeks. Rosh Kadesh is actually going to be on Shabbat. So it'll be a very powerful time to pray, and it coincides with our inaugural service as well. Very good, very good. So our inaugural service will be Friday, January 11th at 7 p.m. And that will also usher in Rosh Kadesh. So we're going to have our star party Friday evening at our new church and our new location. Okay. All right. Good. Great. Someone want to take this? Okay. Let me also think when you also give you our email address and phone number. You can contact us by phone at area code 918-955-7971. That's 918-955-7971. You can contact us by email at tree_of_life@sbcglobal.net. That's TREE_OF_life, LIFE, at SBC, that's Sam Boy Cat, Global, just like the globe, GLOBAL.net. Okay, now that we have all the housekeeping out of the way, let's get to Hebrew lesson number 3. Hebrew lesson number 3. We've gone over the Aleph Bet and the sounds of each of the 22 letters. Yesterday we went over the main long and short verbs, as well as the shivas, the composite shivas, and Kwamat Hatu. Now there's some other verbs I want to make you aware of today. Hopefully you have printed out the sheets that are available on our web page at etzhaim.weebly.com. Hopefully you printed out those sheets. We're on page 7 of those sheets, and that's what we're going to be referring to today. If you haven't printed them out, if you're watching this as a recording, stop now, go to our website, etzhaim.weebly.com, and print them out, because that's what I'm going to be referring to. Okay, let's go to page 7, and we're going to introduce a few more vowels that you need to be aware of. The first of which, we talked about a hirik yod. That's when you have a consonant, a Hebrew letter, and there's a single dot under that consonant. It's called a hirik. If it's just a single dot, as I said, it's called a hirik, and it's a short I sound. But if that dot is immediately followed, remember, Hebrew is from right to left. If that dot is immediately followed by a yod, it's called a hirik yod, not just a hirik, but a hirik yod. And the hirik yod is a long I sound or a long E sound. Okay? And we went over that already. Friday night, yesterday evening. But there's also a vowel called a seri. We went over a seri. Remember, seri is a long E sound. A seri with you have two dots up under the consonant or the Hebrew letter is called a seri. Two dots are a seri. One dot is a herit. But we did not cover, if you look at the top of the page here at under 0.17, the last vowel there is a seri-yod. So when you have two dots under the consonant immediately followed by a yod, it's called a seri-yod. And it is a long E sound, or I should say a long A sound. Okay? A seri-yod is a long A sound. A herit-yod is a long I sound. A seri by itself is a long E sound. Let me do that again. A seri-yod is a long A sound. A herit-yod is a long I sound. A seri, just the two dots by themselves, are a long E sound. Okay? We already went over the holum and the holum valve. Usually you will see a holum, that's a dot at the top of the consonant or the Hebrew letter. Just a single dot at the very top. Normally it's going to be a dot at the top of a yod, of a vav. And so we call it a holum vav. But sometimes it will just be a dot at the top of a letter, and it'll just be called a holum. And it has a long O sound, long O. So just be aware of that. Look for that dot at the top. Then there is the shurk, which will be in the center of a vav, generally. And it has a long double O sound, as in cool, C-O-O-L, cool. Double O sound, the shurk, which will be at the middle of a vav. But that shurk can also appear in the middle of a, no, it will always appear on a vav. You will have a consonant, a vav, and a dot in the middle of that vav, to the left of the vav. And that's always a shurk, double O sound. Now you have to be aware of the dagesh. We'll get a little bit more to that a little later this evening. You know, the begad kapat letters. Remember the 6 begad kapat letters? If you don't, review lesson 2. We're on lesson 3. The begad kapat letters are bait, gimel, and dalet. There's 6 of them. And kaf, pei, and tav. Those are begad kapat letters. And when the gesh or the dot is found in those letters, it merely hardens the sound. It changes the bait or from bait to vet. I mean, without it, it's vet. When you have that, but I don't want to get into that tonight. Just review last night's lesson, go over that. We have what we call quiescent letters, and these are the consonants aleph and hey, when they are not pronounced. That is, they have no vowel following them. So if you have an aleph and there's no vowel up under, no dots or dashes up under, it's not pronounced. When you have a hey that has no vowel following it, that means no dots or dashes up under it, then it is not pronounced. Okay, it says when the hey at the end of the word is to be pronounced, but has no vowel, it will receive a mappy, which is a dot, within the letter. The letter hey with a dot in it, with the mappy, is transliterated H without parentheses. So be aware of that. It says, when the hey at the end of the word is to be pronounced, but has no vowel, it will have a dot in it, which lets you know to pronounce it. Okay? And then the following 0.20 are combination vowels or diphthongs. Like we say athlete. We don't pronounce it athlete. That's a diphthong. And the diphthongs are a consonant with a patah under it, immediately followed by a yod. A patah yod is pronounced ai, as in aisle. Patah yod is pronounced ai. So anytime, whenever you see a yod, look before it to see if there is a hirik, a seri, or a patah immediately preceding it. Yods and vowels you have to watch carefully. Then there's also, we already went over the seri yod, which is the A sound. There's also a sagol yod, also an A sound. So patah yod is AI as in aisle. A seri yod is an A sound, and a sagol yod is an A sound. Okay? We also have something called a Quamatz Yod Vav. So we have three characters there. As you look on 0.20 on the second line, you have a consonant, then you have a Quamatz, then you have a Yod, and then you have a Vav. And that is pronounced AV. You don't pronounce the Yod. AV, ignore the Yod. So if you have a patah, remember there's no such thing as a patah yod. So if you're going to have a patah, not a patah, a komat, excuse me, there's no such thing. There is a patah yod. There's no such thing as a komat yod. Okay, correction on myself. There is a patah yod, as we just went over, but there's no such thing as a komat yod. If you have a komat followed by a yod and a vav, then that is a diphthong. And you pronounce it AV. You ignore the yod. You pronounce the A and the vav, AV. Stand up, Meshach, and pay attention. Stand up, read the paper standing up. Read up, stand up, open to page 7. 0.20. Then we have some more diphthongs. We have a yod and a holam vav, and that's pronounced yo, Y-O. We have a holam vav and a yod, and that's pronounced oi, O-Y. Then we have a yod and a shurik, pronounced Y-O-O. It's self-evident how to pronounce them, but you have to be aware. So, like I said, whenever you see yods and vavs, be on the lookout. That vav and the yod, look at it twice, because it can fool you. Okay? Then 0.21 says the patah, when it comes under a final hey with a mapi, or a final or a tet without a mapi, is pronounced.
It's not a het, not a tet.
Het, excuse me, final het. Not the patah, when it comes under a final hey with a mapi, or a tet with het, I don't want to keep saying that, or a het without a mapi, is pronounced before the consonant, and it's known as furtive patah. Normally, you pronounce the vowel after the consonant. So if I had a lamed and I had a hirik under it, I would pronounce that like or read that like L-I. Get my voice back here. Okay. Once again, if I hit a lamet, which represents an L, and there was a heric under it, I would pronounce that or write it out as L-I, lie, or lee. What this is telling you, when you have a final hey, and you have a mapi in it, and a patah under it, you don't pronounce it ha, H-A, ha. Normally you would say H-A, ha. You would pronounce it the patah first. It would be A-H, ah, A-H, ah, not H-A, ha. And that's going to be a final hey with a mapi in it. Or if you have het with a mapi under it, not a mapi, with a patah under it, instead of saying cha, C-H sound for het, instead of saying C-H-A, cha, it would be A-C-H, ak. Okay? And he gives an example of that. We have resh, vav, then we have the dot in the middle of the vav, which makes it a shurik, and then we have het with a patah up under it. How do you pronounce it? You sure it's not ruha? Why isn't it ruha?
Because it's a hat, the final hat with a patah under it.
You have a patah under it, which means you do what?
When you pronounce the vowel first.
You pronounce the vowel first. So ruach, which means spirit. Notice that you say that you would write that out R-O-O, ru, and then you have A-H, ruach, A-C-H rather, ruach, ruach, okay? The vowel is written out, it's pronounced along with the letter, okay? Now, pretty easy, pretty self-explanatory there. Let's move on to the rules of syllabication. How do we put this together and pronounce it? How do we pronounce Hebrew? Now that you know what the Hebrew letters are, you know how to sound out the Hebrew letters, you know that a resh makes an R sound, okay, you know that the dalet makes the D sound. All you have to do is just study lesson 2 and you will, ascertain all of that. And today we finished up on all of the vowels. We started the vowels last night in lesson 2. And, lesson 1 was the letters, the 22 letters and their sounds, and the final, the final form letters, the Sophete letters, the 5 Sophete letters, and also the 6 Begad Kapet letters. So we've covered all of the letters, okay? You know how to pronounce the letters. We've covered all of the vowels, so you know how to pronounce all of the vowels. So all you have to do is put the sound of the consonant with the sound of the vowel, and you will pronounce the word. But you need to know, how do we break Hebrew up into syllables so that you pronounce the right consonants with the right vowels, okay? And we go to page 10 for that. It's note 0.22. It says, every syllable begins with a consonant. Every syllable begins with a consonant, but may end in a consonant or a vowel. So every syllable has to begin with a letter. Remember, the letters are consonants. All of the 22 Hebrew letters are consonants. This is a consonantal language. So all of the 22 letters are consonants. There are no vowels, unless we have these dots and dashes, which is the Masoretes gave to us. We call it the Masoretic text when we see the dots and dashes. Remember, you can see Hebrew without the dots and dashes too. Okay? So every syllable begins with a consonant, but it can end with a consonant or it can end in a vowel. An open syllable is a consonant plus a vowel. Okay? In the word, say bait, there, ba, we have an example right here in 0.22. We have a bait and we have a quamatz up under it. Okay? So you would pronounce that. How do you pronounce bait? Huh? What sound does the letter bait make? No, it doesn't make ba. No. What sound does the letter, the consonant bait, make?
B.
B, the B sound. B, not ba. Okay.
B or V, that's what I said.
No. Okay. Well, here it has a dagesh in there, right?
Yeah.
So what sound does this bait make?
B.
It's the B sound.
Right.
B as in boy.
Right.
Okay. If it did not have the dagesh there, what sound would it make?
V.
V, the V sound. Okay. Now we have a quamatz under there. So what's the sound of this particular consonant and vowel?
Ba.
Ba, B-A, ba. Okay. Why can't it be B-O? How come it's not a quamatz hatuf? Because it is not in a closed, unaccented syllable. It is in an open syllable. Remember, if it ends in a vowel, it's open. If it ends in a consonant, it is closed. Okay? If it ends in a vowel, it's an open syllable. If it ends in a consonant, it's a closed syllable. And when do you have quamatz hatuf? In a closed, unaccented syllable. Let's see if you remember a little bit of your lesson. Where is the stress on a word in Hebrew, usually?
Usually the first.
What syllable is stressed in Hebrew?
The second?
At the end.
Yeah.
The accent or the stress is at the end of the word or the last syllable. Usually, not always, but usually. Okay? An open syllable is a consonant plus a vowel. We just went over that. A closed syllable is a consonant plus a vowel plus a consonant. So consonant, vowel, consonant is a closed syllable. All right? Now, we have the Hebrew letter Sheen with a seri up under it, and then we have the Hebrew letter Mem. How do we pronounce this? What sound does the Sheen make, the Hebrew letter Sheen? S-H.
Look at my daddy guy.
Yeah.
Okay. S-H. Now, what sound does the seri make, the two dots up under the Sheen? Long E. What sound does the Mem make? M. So how would you pronounce this word? Shem. Shem. Okay, it wouldn't be pronounced she, and then you try to pronounce the M. Do you see that?
Yeah.
It's one syllable. Shem. You know what Shem spell? I mean, what that word means?
Name,
No.
Name.
It means name, right. Shem means name. Baruch Hashem, praise the name. Okay, one syllable. Shem. S-H-E-M is how it's spelled. Okay, a syllable has one vowel only. A syllable always has one vowel only, which may be long, short, or reduced vowel. Like the Shiva is a reduced vowel. That's when you have the two dots in a straight line up under each other. Okay. So how many vowels does a syllable have?
One.
Okay. What define a closed syllable to me?
Consonant, vowel, consonant.
Consonant, vowel, consonant. What is an open syllable?
Consonant, vowel.
Consonant, vowel. Very good. Okay. The Shiva normally ends a syllable. The Shiva normally ends a syllable. At the end of the word, the Shiva is usually omitted, except for final cough, which means that it's not pronounced. Okay? Cough Sophie. And tav with the dagesh. You wouldn't pronounce it. A Shiva ending a syllable is silent. Okay? And we have some examples. First, we have lamet and final cough. We have a lamet with a seri up under it. Then we have final cough with a Shiva. You simply ignore the Shiva and you will pronounce this like an L-E-K, leak. Okay? Or lek, L-E-C-H, because there's no dagesh there. So it would be C-H. If it was a dagesh, it would be leak, L-E-K. But since there's no dagesh, remember this is one of the begad kapat letters. Okay? Then the next word we have mem, hirik, and we have sheen, shiva, and we have pei, quamats. How would you pronounce that?
What is that pay? Oh, I see. It's pay, quamats, tech.
Yeah, pei quamats. Pei quamats tet. Okay, pei quamats tet. How would you pronounce that word?
Mishpat.
Hmm?
Would be mishpat.
Mishpat. Mishpat. What is a mishpat?
That has a dagesh in it.
Okay. Mishpat is a commandment. Okay. Now why? Okay, how many syllables? Give me the first syllable.
That is mem. Yeah, mish.
Hmm?
Mish is the mem here at sheen.
Mem, hirik, sheen. Why is it the first syllable simply me, meaning the mem and the hirik there, me, and then the next syllable would be she, me, she, pot. Why isn't it me, she, pot?
Because the Shirik is,
Say what?
like another rule, but the Shirik,
No, it's not a rule about the hirik.
well,
Tell me why.
Shiva indicates the end of the syllable.
The Shiva does not always indicate the end of a syllable, so that's not correct. You're kind of on the right path. Someone tell me why this is not pronounced Mishipat or Mishipat.
the second vowel is not supposed to be silent. I mean, or it doesn't really, this,
Okay, you're kind of close, but no cigar.
yeah.
Okay, the Shiva is silent. It comes at the end of a syllable. So the first syllable is mem, hirik, sheen, which is mish.
Yes, well,
Long I sound. No, short I sound. Mish. Mish. And then you have the pay, quamatz, tet. Mishpah. Okay? Tet makes a what sound?
T.
T. Mishpah. Mishpah.
Right.
Okay? So you have pay, because you have a dagesh there. You have a komatz, that pay, that dagesh makes that pay pronounced P. It's, if it didn't have the dagesh, it would be pronounced fe, mishfa. But since it has the dagesh, it's mishpat, mishpat. The shiva up under the sheen is silent because it ends the syllable.
Okay.
And a shiva at the end of a syllable is silent. Okay. All right. The next word, you have olive. You have sheen again. You have a schwa or shiva up under it. Then you have tav with a dagesh. And what is that last vowel called? Whole vowel. How would you pronounce this?
Ishto.
Hmm?
Ishto.
Ish what?
Ishto.
Ishto. Same reason. You have the shiva is silent, it's not pronounced. So the the olive is silent. So and we have a long I, so we have ish, I-S-H, ish, though, ishto, ishto, tav. Remember, if it has a dagesh, it's hard as a sound. So and tav is the T sound. If it didn't have the dagesh, it could actually be a TH sound. Ish though, softer though, instead of ish toe. Okay, you see that? That the dagesh inside the tav means it has the hard T sound. Without the dagesh, you would have the soft TH sound. Ish though, ish though. But since it has the dagesh, it is ish toe. That actually be transliterated I-S-H-T-O, ishto. The accent is on the last syllable. Ishto, ishto.
Okay.
Okay, Hebrew, the accent is usually, or the stress is usually on the last syllable. Okay, now, when the shiva begins a word, it is considered a syllable and is pronounced. Okay, when we see these shivas in the middle, we know that that's the end of the constant of the syllable. When you see a shiva in the middle of the word by itself, it's going to be silent, and that means it ends the consonant, not the consonant. It ends the syllable. Did everybody follow me there? When you see a shiva and it's in the middle of the word by itself, no other shivas, it is ending the syllable, and therefore it is silent. As we just read, when the shiva or the schwa is at the beginning of a word, then it is pronounced. It's considered part of, the syllable, and it's going to be pronounced. What sound does the shiva make or the schwa make?
Short E.
Like a short E. All right. Now, what do we have here? We have a word here. It is mem, schwa, noon, vav, with a dagesh in the middle there. And then we have het, quamatz, hey. Someone want to try and pronounce that word?
That menuha.
What?
That menuha.
Say the first syllable again.
Me.
No. You've got a T sound there. Where are you getting a T
I
sound?
said me.
Huh?
I said me, as in M-E. Me.
Okay. It was M-E is more like me.
Me?
Yeah, M-E, me. Not ma,
Well, it says it's a short E is in severe.
severe.
So I thought it was like
Me.
the first E is severe.
Sa.
So that's what I thought.
Pronounce, I think it's M-E. Okay, I got what you're saying. Go ahead.
So it's me, nu, ha.
Mem what?
It's me, and then it's nu, and then ha.
Mem nu ha. Wrong.
Wrong. This is me.
What does tet, what sound does het make?
Het.
Het.
What's the CH? So be,
Okay, so pronounce it now.
so be me, nu, ha.
Mem nu ka. Or ka.
You know.
But not, you know what I'm getting at. It's not an H sound. It's a CH sound. Me, okay, you have a mem, which makes the M sound. You have a shiva there, or schwa, which makes a short E sound. So me, or you like to say ma, me and ma. And then you have a noon with, what's that vowel called next to it?
Sure.
Short. What comprises a short vowel?
It's a mom with a.
The guess right there in the center. Okay, what sound does this short make?
Double O sound.
Double O. So you have noon, which makes the N sound. So you have the shirk after it. So it's me, nu, I mean N-O-O, me, nu, and then you have het, quamats, he. And how do you pronounce that? Het, quamats, he?
Be ha.
Ka,
Huh?
ka,
Ka.
not ka, but ka.
I know.
Cough is, you know.
C-H-A,
Ka.
ka.
There's no K.
I said C-H-A,
Yeah. Ka.
ka.
You can't do the
No,
girls.
no, it's a go.
I can't do the guttural, so it's ka to me. All right. Now, there's a quamats there. There's a quamats there.
Because all the time you snore.
How come you're pronouncing that A?
Me.
The last, you have het, quamats, he.
Because it's a closed syllable.
It's actually.
No, that's not right.
Oh,
It could, what could that quamats be?
It could be Kumasa too.
It could be a quamats tooth. If it's a quamats tooth, how do you pronounce that
look back.
The
short O? So if that's a quamats tooth, how would it be pronounced? Huh? Co. C-H-O?
S-C-H-O-H.
No, it's not. It wouldn't be C-H-O-H. And it would not be C-H-A-H. Why do you not pronounce that hey?
Oh, because of the final head.
Final hey is not pronounced. So it's minuka or minuko. Now which one is it? Is it minuka or minuko?
Ha.
Why?
Because it's accented.
Because it's accent. It's closed. Remember, a kamata tooth is in a closed syllable, right?
Correct.
But what type of a closed syllable?
Unaccented.
Unaccented. How do we know that this syllable is accented?
Because the last syllable.
Because it's the last syllable, and usually, not always, usually, the last syllable in a Hebrew word is accented. So this is a closed syllable, but it is accented. So therefore, it is a quamats and not a quamats hatuf. Everyone see that? And we do not pronounce the hey because of why? Why don't we pronounce the hey?
Is the final hat.
Because it's final hey. Okay? Now, the next word. We have a vav, a schwa. We have sheen, seri, and what's that last letter?
Final mem.
Final mem. Somebody want to pronounce that?
The shem.
What?
The shem.
Say it again.
The shem.
Vishim. What does that mean?
That's our name.
You hear me say it in my prayers all the time.
Beshem, we know the name is Ha, but is An? No. What's the?
Vishim is an
Oh, it is. Okay. And
or in. It's an inseparable preposition. It's either in or an. So what does that say? Vishim.
a name.
Huh?
A name.
In the name. In name. In the name. Vishim Yeshua. In the name of Yeshua.
Okay.
Okay? Vishim Yeshua. All right? We pronounce the schwa because it's at the beginning of the word. So you've got one syllable, V, and then S-H-E-M, Shem. Okay? Let's go to the next one. We have gimbal with a dagesh. We have a schwa. Then we have dalet. Then we have vav with a dot on top of it. Then we have lamet, quamatz, hey. Anybody want to try and pronounce that?
Gedolah.
Huh?
Gedolah.
Gendo what?
Ge is get. G do then la.
Gadol.
Yeah, do
Gedol. What does that mean?
You forgot.
Gedola.
You forgot Gadol.
Oh.
Great or big.
Yeah, I'm about to say that.
It's hard to see. It's really tiny.
We don't think you just said that.
We have gimbal with a dagesh. Why don't we double it?
Because we got that letter.
Okay, listen. We have a gimbal with a dagesh. Why don't we double it?
Because we almost be good. It's just hard.
Yes.
What?
It's just like about gag.
It's a begad kapet letter. It never doubles. It only hardens the sound. So you have to know the begad kapet letters.
Okay.
If you don't know the begad kapet letters, bait, gimbal, dalet, cough, pay, tav, you'll think you need to double it when all you should do is harden the sound. So you see why you need to know the begad. It's very important that you know the begad kapet letters. It's very important that you know the final form letters. It's very important that you know that you don't pronounce final hey. It's very, important that at the end of a word or anywhere, a patah hey, you pronounce the patah first. Okay? Little rules, but they go a long way because you use them over and over and over and over and over again. Every time you read a word, you're going to come up against one of those rules. So it's just a couple of rules that you need to remember when you are pronouncing Hebrew, but you have to know these few rules because every single word you go to pronounce, you're going to have to know this. You got to know the letters. You got to know the sounds that they make. You have to know the vowels, the sounds that the vowels make. You have to know when you have a begad kapet letter or a final form letter. You have to know all this. Okay. Gidola. Gidola. We go through the first syllable, two syllables quick. Gidola. Yidala.
Okay.
You know.
What's
Sounds
going
like Cleon, don't it? Yidala.
Yeah. What's
Yeah.
going on? Hold up.
Okay, the next word.
Shefo.
Huh?
Like Shefo.
Shefaro?
She what?
He said Shefaro.
Shefo. Shin.
Pronounce that second syllable again.
Vote.
Huh?
Vote.
Vote?
Vote.
Wrong.
He said P-A. Oh. He said F.
Yeah, I said
As in Faye.
Nope.
Phone.
Nope. Look closely.
Has a hole over it.
Has a hole over it.
Yeah. I see it.
Okay. So what is the first vowel?
Chef. The first vowel is Shiva and the Shin.
Okay.
Mhm.
What is the first consonant?
Shin.
Okay, so you have, is it a closed syllable or open syllable?
That's open.
Open.
Why?
Because the syllable has to start with a consonant. So if it was closed, it would be Shin, Shiva, Pei, and then you start with the hole.
Or a word or something, or another consonant. So it's an open syllable, so it is S-H-E, she. And how do you pronounce the second syllable?
Vote.
Huh?
Vote. F-O-T.
What?
Vote. F-O-T.
No.
That's why we're like, hmm? Well, I was like, hmm?
It has a holum over it, so it's not a consonant.
There's not a hole.
It has a dot over the pay. That's a holum. It's not a holum vav, but it is a holum. So that pay simply becomes a vowel. So it's an O sound. Ot. Shiat. Because of the holum over the pay.
Why is it pen there?
Because it's Hebrew, that's why.
You come and say that it's silent.
Okay. Look at the form for the holum. Back on page 6. A holum can have a vav up under it, in which it's a holum vav, or it can have any consonant up under it, in which it is still no difference in the sound and meaning. It changes the consonant to a vowel, and that vowel sound is a holum, which is simply a long O sound. She ought. She ought. Meshach, where you going? Stand up some more. Ask to be excused. You're going to the bathroom more than a pregnant woman.
I think a lot of water.
Good. Okay. So you have to watch. You have to watch for those, for dots at the top, dots in the middle, and dots up under it.
I can't find that. Where is it?
You can't find what?
Where that rule is. Hold on, I forgot.
I just told you, page 6. The introduction to the Hebrew vowels.
Okay.
You see the form that it can take? It'd be a holum vav with just a holum over the consonant. It says right there, no difference in sound and meaning.
So basically means if the whole vav, then you say the consonant and the O. But if it's just a hole, then it's just the whole thing's turned into a O.
The whole thing turns into the vowel, turns into the vowel holum, which is an O sound. Let's go back to page 7. We didn't read this, okay. Point 18. Mater vowels are unchangeably long and termed full, while the corresponding vowel lacking an alphabet letter is termed defective. The form holum X, the X representing any letter, is defective, with a dot to the left of the letter. Okay? Holum vowel is full, also called pline, having the vowel letter with the dot. To indicate the difference in defective and full holum, the latter is designated holum vav. Okay?
Okay.
And what do we have? We have that dot to the left. All right? She'at. Now, when two shivas occur together, the first shiva is silent and the second one is pronounced or voiced. Two shivas together, you would think that two shivas together, the first one would be pronounced. But two shivas together, the first one is silent and the second one is pronounced. You see that? When two shivas occur together, the first shiva is silent and the second one is voiced. Okay? All right, let's read. What is this word here? We have Yod, Hirik, Pei, Shiva, Noon, Dagesh, Shiva, Ayin, and we have, huh?
I said Gimel.
What did I say?
Yeah.
Okay, Gimel. Gimel, Dagesh, with a Shiva, and then an Ayin and a Vav with a Dagesh. Who wants to try and pronounce it? Huh?
I think it's Yif, Y-I-F. Gimel is the Shiva, and Zut, T-Z-U.
I am outside.
I.
Yeah, not outside.
Try it again. Someone else want to try?
Things like
Yevgu.
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 Yiv what?
Yevgu.
Yiv.
Yevgu.
Yiv. Ga what?
Yevgu.
How many syllables?
3.
3. What's the first syllable? Pronounce it.
Yif,
Yef.
Y what? What do you pronounce it? Spell it.
Y-I-F.
Yod.
Y-F. Why not yip?
Because
Not
none of you guys are
Ganesh.
No dagesh there, so it's on. Okay. Yiv, first syllable. What's the second syllable?
Get,
Gimel.
Huh?
should be get, G-E.
G-E. Okay. Yev, Geh. And what's the last syllable? Ooh. Why?
I am silent.
Last side, they have a whole Bob at the end.
That's a sure.
It's not a whole involved.
Sure, sorry, right, sure.
So Yiv, Gif, Ooh. Yiv, Gi, Ooh. Yiv, Gi, Okay, that's correct. The first Shiva ends a syllable. The second one begins it. That's consistent with the rule, isn't it? If it begins a word or begins a syllable, you pronounce it. So the first one, and if you find a Shiva in the middle of the sentence, it is going to be silent. So it's obeying every rule. Okay, accents show the position of the stress of a word. In Hebrew, the accent of the word generally falls on the last syllable, called the ultima. Less often, it occurs on the pinot, the syllable before the last, in which case it will be marked. The stress or accented syllable may be referred to as tonic, the syllable before it pretonic, and the one before that propretonic. You really don't have to remember all that, but you know it now. The chromats may be a long vowel with the sound of A as in father, or it may be a short vowel and have the sound O, chromatatuf. In a closed, unaccented syllable, it will always be O. In general, the vowel is long in an open, unaccented syllable.
Or accented.
In an open or accented syllable, okay? Remember, the accent is normally on the last syllable. Okay? Let's look at this word, we have Aleph, Sheen, Schwa, then we have Tav, and we have a Vav with a dot over it. Who wants to pronounce that one?
That's like Ishto.
Huh?
Ishto.
Ishto, correct? Next we have Yo, Schwa, Hey, Vav with a dot in the middle, Dalet with a Komatz or a Komatz Hey. Who wants to do that one?
Yehuda.
Huh?
Yehuda.
Yehuda. That's correct. Are you pronouncing D-A-H, Yehuda?
Yes.
That's wrong.
Or Yehuda.
Yehuda, D-A. The H is silent. Yehuda, not Yehuda.
Yehuda.
Yehuda. Okay? You guys can read and write. You guys can read Hebrew. See how easy that is? Okay? Now let's do another rule. The vowel is short in a closed, unaccented syllable. The vowel is long in an open, accented syllable. In general, the vowel is long in an open, it says, or accented syllable. I don't know if that's and or what, because this next rule says the vowel is short in a closed, unaccented syllable. Okay? Maybe we'll stop there. And next weekend, we're going to go over how to divide the syllables. And then go over the doubling. And that will end the lesson. So this is lesson 3. Lessons 4 or 5 will finish up on everything that you need to know on how to read and pronounce Hebrew. I just keep them kind of short.
We still don't have a hot on the candle.
Don't we still have that little piece?
You told us to throw it away.
Yeah, you have to throw it away.
Why did you throw it away?
You told us.
It was like
When
left
you
in
did
the
that, it
edge.
was gonna burn your hand.
Okay.
And it cracked the glass, remember?
You can just hit the blessing.
Yeah.
Okay, just do the blessing.
Light a candle.
Okay, you want to stop recording.
Right. Click it.